Hi, I'm Patrick Reagan. Welcome to Part 2, Connecting to a Network. During this video, we'll explain what technologies are used to connect to a wired and wireless network. For a system to connect to a network, the client will connect to a wired or wireless network. The most common wired connection for the system is the IEEE standard 802.3 Ethernet, which defines how to configure Ethernet networks and how the network elements interact. The most common wireless connection for a system is IEEE 802.11 Wi-Fi, which uses radio waves to connect from one computer to another or for the computer to connect to an access point. Network Interface Card, or NIC, is the fundamental network device that every device on the network has. It is found in computers, servers, printers, routers, switches, firewalls, VoIP phones, tablets, network cameras, and so forth. It is specific to the network types such as Ethernet, WAN, or wireless. It is often built into the motherboard or added as an expansion card. Some can be connected through a USB adapter. It can be a single port or multi-port and can be copper or fiber. Network card interfaces will have a media access control or MAC address. This physical address that is built in the interface is a unique 12 hexadecimal character string. A hexadecimal number can include 0 through 9, as well as A, B, C, D, E, and F. An example of a MAC address is 00-B0-D0-63-C2-26. Ethernet is a family of wired computer networking technologies commonly used in local area networks, metropolitan area networks, and wide area networks. Today, primarily uses 4-pair twisted pair cables, 8 total wires, and an RJ45 connector which connects to a switch. When connected to a switch, the switch and devices use a physical star topology, but the logical pathway is a bus topology. Ethernet uses carrier-sense multiple access with collision detection as its medium access control or MAC method. The Ethernet device listens to, determines if devices are talking on the network. If no device is talking, it will send packets. If a collision is detected where two devices are talking at the same time, both devices will wait a random amount of time and attempt to resend packets. Switches allow a dedicated channel for each device where there are no collisions between the switch and the device connected to the switch. Patch panels are a combination of punch-down blocks and RJ45 connectors, which is in the server room or communications closet. To connect a computer or VoIP phone to the network, you connect your computer or VoIP phone to wall jack with an Ethernet cable. The wall jack is connected to a long cable that goes to the walls and ceilings to the back of the patch panel. You connect the front of the patch panel port to a network switch using another Ethernet cable. The switch will allow your computer or VoIP phone to communicate with all other computers and devices that are connected to the switch. The switch will forward packets to those devices based on its MAC addresses. Today, wireless networking is everywhere. Many businesses and companies will have more than one access point. Wireless access should mostly be invisible to your users. A wireless access point is a bridge or wireless switch that extends the wired network onto the wireless network. It makes forwarding decisions based on MAC addresses. However, a wireless access point is not a wireless router. A wireless router is a router and an access point in a single device. When you deploy wireless access points, you may need to develop access and security policies for wireless access, and you'll need to configure the access points. Wireless computers will usually connect to the network by connecting to a wireless access point, although they could directly communicate with another wireless client directly. The most common wireless connection for a system is IEEE 802.11, commonly known as Wi-Fi. Similar to a wired connection, wireless adapters are built into the motherboard or added as an expansion card. Some can be connected through a USB adapter. In addition, similar to a wired connection, the wireless adapter will have a MAC address. MAC addresses are 48 bits long, and as mentioned, they're usually written in hexadecimal format. Remember, each hexadecimal number represents 4 bits. While I showed an example of MAC address with dashes, MAC addresses can also be shown with colons, such as 00 colon B0 colon D0 colon 63 colon C2 colon 26. As an administrator, you'll deal with MAC addresses when you need to, identify specific devices on your network, configure network access controls like MAC filtering, troubleshoot network issues by pinpointing which devices are involved, gather information about devices connecting to your network for security purposes, and to create a DHCP reservation so that the client always gets the same IP address. A MAC address is broken down into 2 even parts. The first part identifies the manufacturer of the network device, called the Organizational Unique Identifier, or OUI. The second part uniquely identifies the specific device within that manufacturer's range, essentially acting as the device identifier. You typically cannot change the MAC address of an adapter because it is hardwired into the adapter. But some systems, particularly when dealing with virtual machines, allows you to change the MAC address. There are multiple websites that allow you to look up the manufacturer based on the MAC address, including those shown on the screen. If 2 network adapters on the same local network are using the same MAC address, it will cause significant communication issues as the network switch or access point won't be able to differentiate between the 2 devices, leading to unpredictable data delivery, potential packet loss, and overall network disruption. Essentially, the network will be confused about which device to send data to when addressing that specific MAC address. Each network adapter is assigned a unique MAC address by its manufacturing, ensuring no 2 devices on the network have the same identifier. So having duplicates is fundamentally not supposed to happen. You can use adapters with the same MAC addresses as long as they are on separate LANs. To see your MAC address in Windows, from the command prompt, execute the ipconfig/all command. To see your MAC address in Linux or Apple OS, from the terminal window, execute the ifconfig command. Address Resolution Protocol, or ARP, is a network protocol that matches IP addresses to MAC addresses. ARP is important for routing traffic to the correct device on a network. When a device sends a packet to a host on a LAN, the gateway asks ARP to find the MAC address that matches the IP address. ARP translates 32-bit IP addresses to 48-bit MAC addresses and vice versa. The ARP cache table stores the IP address and its corresponding MAC address. When the device needs to communicate, it can use the ARP cache to find the MAC address it needs, instead of having to send a request and wait for a reply. In Windows, you can view the ARP table by executing arp-a command. To view the Address Resolution Protocol table on Cisco Switch, you can use the Show MAC Address Table command or use the Show ARP command in exec mode. You can also use the Show ARP Summary and Show ARP Application commands. Question: how many wires does the Ethernet RJ45 connector use? Answer 8. Question: what kind of address would you find on the Ethernet network interface card and network wireless adapter? Answer: MAC address or the physical address. Question: what standard is used for Wi-Fi? Answer: 802.11. Question: what layer of the OSI model does MAC addresses in ARP work from? Answer: data link. Question: a technician needs to find the MAC address of a connecting router. Which of the following commands should the technician use? Answer: ARP, which is short for Address Resolution Protocol. For more information, visit these sites. In summary, Network Interface Card, or NIC, is the fundamental network device that every device on the network has. Network card interfaces will have a Media Access Control, or MAC address, which is the physical address that's built into the interface. The most common wired connection for a system is the IEEE standard 802.3 Ethernet, which defines how to configure Ethernet networks and how the network elements interact. The most common wireless connection for a system is IEEE 802.11, which uses radio waves to connect from one computer to another or for a computer to connect to an access point. MAC addresses are 48 bits long, and as mentioned, they're usually written in hexadecimal format. If two network adapters on the same local network are using the same MAC address, it will cause significant communication issues as the network switch or access point won't be able to differentiate between the two devices, leading to unpredictable data delivery, potential packet loss, and overall network disruption. Address Resolution Protocol, or ARP, is a network protocol that matches IP addresses to MAC addresses. Thank you for watching this video. The next video will be Basic Networking Hardware, Part 2, Basic Networking Appliances. If you have not already, subscribe to the Pat Has Your Back channel. Thank you.